students, welcome to Dheeraj Academy. So I hope you all are doing very well. So this is the next lecture of the today's class, that is the lecture number 3rd. Oh, I think it's a lecture number 4 because we are doing respiration today, and we already completed with the nutrition part of the life process, right? So let's start with the respiration. What do you understand by respiration? People actually confuse between the respiration and breathing. See, breathing is taking air out and in. Okay, breathing in, breathing out. That's it. It means only related to the lungs part. But what about what we are taking oxygen, right? So what is happening to that oxygen is basically the oxygen is going inside the cell, and inside the cell it is going to the mitochondria where it is actually generating the energy. So ultimately the food you are using, okay, the food is giving you the energy through the cellular respiration. So the respiration is a process of releasing energy. So it is a kind of exothermic process as well. That is also written in the chemistry NCERT. So we need to relate through it, and we are moving forward, as whatever you are eating, that is going to convert into the glucose, like the bread, okay, any carbohydrate source you are eating, and the glucose breakdown in presence of oxygen, that will release carbon dioxide and water as a two waste product. See, these two are the waste. Ma'am, how these two products are waste? Simply, water is excreted out through our body in the form of urine, and in the form of what? In the form of very important, that is sweat and carbon dioxide, and it is producing a lot of energy. But where does this reaction takes place, ma'am? It takes place inside the cell, basically in the mitochondria. That's why mitochondria produces a lot of energy. Ma'am, what about the bacterial cell? Yes, bacterial cell do also perform respiration, but it is not the mitochondrial. Like, it will not take place in the mitochondria because bacteria do not have mitochondria, right? So the amount of energy produced in the bacteria, that is in the cytoplasm, and it is gonna be the very less, and that is a glycolysis. Okay, and in our case the glycolysis also takes place. Okay, so the glycolysis takes place, glycolysis plus in the mitochondria it will take place. That's gonna produce total of 38 ATP. But in case of bacteria, it is totally different. That only the glycolysis takes place because it contains 2 ATP and it contains 36. So in the glycolysis they will produce only 2 ATP. What about the anaerobic respiration? Yes, in the anaerobic respiration only what will take place? Oxygen. In presence of oxygen is very important. And in the bacteria, whether the oxygen is present or whether the oxygen is absent, only the glycolysis is the source of energy. Ma'am, what about the anaerobic organism? Anaerobic will not use any oxygen. So if the oxygen is not used, because oxygen is mainly used in the mitochondria, they will surely produce only through the glycolysis. That is going to be the very less energy. Okay, what happened when in the marathon, that actually the runners do running, okay, they need to do very fast running. What happened at that case? All the glucose converted into the lactic acid, okay, which causes muscle fatigue. We will gonna study this one okay ahead. What is ATP? The energy is producing is in the form of currency. That's why mitochondria is called as the powerhouse of the cell. So test yourself. Now you need to answer me, students, in the comment box, that what is respiration, and is respiration important for an organism, and why it is important. What word is spelled incorrectly in every single dictionary? Okay, all these 3 questions you need to answer me, and you need to comment down here below, right? Next, how is energy stored and utilized when needed? See, energy is stored basically in this formula. ADP plus inorganic phosphate will form ATP. It means the energy is being made. If the energy is being, if the direction is this, it means energy is broken down. Okay, energy is being used in the cell activity. That's why it's broken down. And in this case, ADP plus PI made ATP. It means energy is being made. Types of respiration, I told you there are two types of respiration. So glycolysis is the first, very common, and it will take place in every organism, okay, whether any kind of exception in our body, in bacterial body, in every organism, okay. Okay. So on the basis of availability of oxygen, it depends. Two types. One is aerobic respiration, which uses oxygen. One is anaerobic respiration, that does not uses the oxygen and produce only 2 ATP, as I told you. Two types of anaerobic: alcoholic fermentation and the muscle fermentation. I told you in the muscle fermentation, lactic acid is being produced. That's why it causes muscle fatigue. That is more common in the athletes. Alcohol fermentation, where it is used in the industry of alcohol, right? Next, just a minute students, let me check. Yes, my mic is working. Now you need to test yourself. Yes, what is the energy currency? Ma'am, it is of course ATP. ATP is the energy currency of the cell. What happens when ATP gets converted into ATP? It means energy is being made. How many types of respiration are there? You will say 2 types, aerobic and anaerobic. Name the first process in the respiration. Does it require oxygen? You need to comment down these 2 answers, right? Okay. Next. Aerobic respiration in the presence of oxygen, very very important, and it produces 36 plus 2, 38 ATP, as I told you. Also these 2 waste products also being made inside the mitochondria. And in the anaerobic respiration, you can see the glucose will convert into pyruvic acid, and you can see either it will form lactic acid, either it will form ethanol. What is ethanol? Ethanol is an alcohol, right? Next. Can you see, this is the diagram from the NCERT. Glucose will convert into the pyruvate first, okay, and this pyruvate reaction takes place in every organism, in all organisms, okay ma'am, it will take place in all organisms, and we can say it will take place in the cytoplasm, I think already written, and this process is called what? Glycolysis. This process is called glycolysis. Absence of oxygen, yes, if it is anaerobic, this is called as alcoholic fermentation. Lack of oxygen, this is also anaerobic. If it is in the muscle cell, we will call muscle fermentation. It will produce lactic acid and the energy, but the carbon dioxide is not produced in this case, okay. Presence of oxygen in the mitochondria, it will produce 36 ATP or the 38 ATP, right? These 3 pathways are very important because questions ask. A question will come in your examination. What happens to the pyruvate in the presence of oxygen? The pyruvate in the presence of oxygen will go to the mitochondria and it will produce 36 or 38 ATP. Name the above process that takes place in the above condition. You need to name them. Why do we feel pain? That is aerobic respiration, right? Aerobic. In our muscle during rigorous exercise due to lactic acid, right? How is the above mentioned process different in the yeast? Because it produces ethanol, right? What goes up but never ever comes down? You need to comment down this one. Very good students. Respiration in plants, as we will talk about the respiration, that is the last part. Can you see whenever we draw in this kind of things, this is lenticels where the oxygen, the plants also respire. Yes, plants also require oxygen, but the availability of oxygen is never a problem in the plants because oxygen is already produced inside, right? Roots are living, root require oxygen, and it is produced inside the leaves. So plant do not think they require external or any kind of lungs like structure as we have in case of humans. So respiration in animals have a various kinds and various methods. You can see the spiracles are present in the insect. Unicellular respire through the skin as through their cells and all. I breathe through my skin as long as it stays wet. Can you see? Every organism has a different way of respiration. Respiration in the humans as breathing, exchange of gas takes place, exchange of carbon dioxide and oxygen. Oxygen will come in, carbon dioxide will go out. Cellular respiration where the ATP will be synthesized. Can you see? See, the real shape of the diaphragm is this one. This is when you exhale, when you relax. Okay, so it will comes into the normal position. Normal position, that is a semilunar kind of shape. but diaphragm moves down, it will become flat as you inhale. Okay, whenever you inhale. Okay, that case. So now we will do quickly questions, a few questions here. Anaerobic respiration requires the sugar. Which sugar is being required? You will say, ma'am, glucose is required. Metabolism is the dash in a cell or the body. Is a sum of all the reactions in the body. Muscles produce what? Muscle produce energy by respiration. Muscle produce exercise. Muscle convert back into glucose. Muscle feels sore. Yeah, muscle can produce very little energy. We will say little energy through the lactic acid. Lactic acid can be less energy is released. Anaerobic respiration removed by extra oxygen. Lactic acid can be less energy is released, removed by extra oxygen. Lactic acid can be anaerobic respiration, as I told you. Aerobic respiration requires the sugar, glucose. Aerobic respiration produces carbon dioxide and water as a gas. Oh, it is asking gas. So water will not be the answer. That's why we need to study like this. So students, I really hope you enjoyed the class today. And we have few more questions. Aerobic respiration produces dash gas. So you will say carbon dioxide gas as a product to dash muscles animal cell. 2. You need to answer this one. You need to answer this one. You need to answer this one. That happens in the muscle when dash happens in a muscle when there is sufficient oxygen. It means aerobic respiration will take place. The product of anaerobic respiration in plant and the yeast cells are anaerobic respiration in plant and the yeast cells are basically, you will say for the yeast cell, ma'am, it will produce ethanol. Yes, anaerobic respiration requires the sugar. Yes, glucose. The aerobic respiration products are carbon dioxide and the water. Energy is also energy for the chemical reaction as well, right? So I really hope you like the session, and students, thank you so much. So you need to study with us. So keep subscribing and do like and share this video. Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, students.